And welcome into No Holding Back. It's our hockey edition, and we're thrilled to have Chris Wilkie joining us now from Colorado Springs. He played for the Tigers the last couple of years, was one of the top goal scorers in college hockey last year, started his college career at North Dakota. Chris, welcome in. How are you, my friend?
Thanks for having me. I'm doing well. I'm just trying to keep busy during these times right now.
Yeah, what's been the key for you in doing that? What have you been doing to keep occupied, like the rest of us, trying to find stuff to do, man?
Yeah, I mean a lot of TV, trying to find stuff that's interesting to watch. Spending a lot of time with the dog, a lot of walks and time outside, which definitely helps pass some of the time. And I mean, wrapping up some schoolwork, and that's really about it. Just a lot of TV though, for sure.
Yeah. School-wise, I'll start there, and then I'll follow up with the TV stuff. School-wise, so how long have you guys been online for at CC out there?
We were online the last month. We have the block schedule here at CC, so 7th block was online, and then have this week off, and then 3 more weeks starting next Monday. Basically just kind of wrapping up my final essay right now to graduate, and then all done with school, so that'll be nice.
What's your major?
History. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. Television-wise, what are some of the best things that you've watched during the quarantine we've all been under?
I watched the new season of Ozark. I think that's an unreal show. I mean, crushed it pretty fast there. And then pretty good timing with the Michael Jordan stuff coming out the last couple of days. I think that was pretty cool to watch. So kind of ripped through those 2 episodes, and it'd be good to. It kind of stretches it out now that they're doing 2 over 5 weeks, so you don't just get rid of it in a day or 2. So that'll be good and something to look forward to every weekend.
Yeah, it was awesome to see. And my son's a college freshman. He'll be 19 in about 2 weeks. I got to get him a birthday gift here. But you're how old are you? 23 now? You guys aren't far apart, right? What are you, 23?
Yeah, I turned 24 this summer.
Right. So
yeah.
How much do you, I mean, Michael Jordan, I mean, what are your memories? I mean, was he even in your memory bank when you were a kid growing up or not? Or did you have to watch old, YouTube clips or games on NBA TV or what?
Yeah, no, I'm not really familiar with him. I think that last year I was only 2. So, no, didn't really get the chance to watch him. This would have been something that would have been cool to live through. I guess kind of LeBron would be the similar athlete for our time period right now in the NBA, getting the chance to watch him. But just kind of really cool to look back on the things that happened and how good he was, because you didn't really get to appreciate that during the time being so young.
Yeah, I mean, the ultimate competitor, and if you didn't win, it was not good enough. That was the way he was. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so let's kind of get into your story a little bit here and talk about that. So you and I first met. I want to say it was your freshman year. I don't know how much we talked that year. I know the second year you were at North Dakota, we seemed to always find each other at practice and, have a conversation here or there. But just kind of walk those that don't know through your path to, getting to North Dakota. I read your story on the NCHC website earlier, kind of a personal diary that you did about everything, which we're going to dive into, which I thought was great. But I guess it starts with your dad being a former NHL player, and you grew up around the game, probably grew up in locker rooms like any young man or young girl that plays hockey with a father that played at that level, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty young for most of his career when he was playing in the National League, and but I think as his career kind of came to an end, I was around the locker room more in his days, finishing up in Augusta in the East Coast League, and then he was the head coach there for a little bit, and just being around their team. I don't think I ever let my mom actually take me to preschool in the mornings. I just went to the rink with Dad and hung out with the guys in the locker room. So yeah, I think just from that point on, it was always just kind of an obsession with hockey, and we ended up back in Omaha for most of my life, just playing there, and people like my dad kind of pioneer the game there and help it grow, and it's pretty cool to see where it's come in a place where it's not exactly a hockey hotbed. So
yeah, I always use that term jokingly, and I have over the last few years. Like you see you know, a guy like Austin Matthews coming out of Scottsdale, Arizona. I mean, it's not your traditional hotbed. So how many years did you play for your dad when you were a kid?
I think when he first came back, he started with our Squirt AA team. And then up until through my sophomore year in high school. So probably like 8-9 years. He coached me all the way up until I went to the national team my junior year.
Right on. So I worked for my dad out of high school for 3 years. I was 17 when I graduated. So I get the dynamic of, you know, that quote unquote working relationship. How was it with you and your dad?
He was definitely tough, especially when I was younger. I don't know if he really thought that I had the drive at an early age. He thought I was only just like the gear and the sticks and stuff, and didn't really want to put the work in. But I think, I mean, him being tough on me definitely helped. And I think now that I've gotten older and gotten away from him being my coach, I think he's been more of just a mentor and someone to lean on and talk to for advice and help. And I think now it's just more of an advising role for him, and not so much as the hard ass coaching role.
I can relate, man. I was a carpenter for my dad, and you know, he thought I was going to be a carpenter the rest of my life. But he taught me a lot of great lessons that really apply to what I do now. You kind of start with a foundation and you build upon it. So similar to what you've done and you're continuing to do with your hockey career, your college career now over, of course, and still the pros on ahead for you whenever that happens. So to kind of get into this story, you go to North Dakota. What was it like for you? I believe it said in the story that the diary that you'd read, you were 15 when you first had contact with them.
Yeah. I committed my sophomore year when I was playing U16 in Omaha. Looking back on it, I probably wouldn't give that advice to anyone else to rush to commit so early. I mean, obviously it's getting younger, but looking back on it, it probably could have taken more time and looked to other places. But I mean, there's not really any regrets there going to North Dakota for those 2 years. I was young and stepping into the Ralph as a 15-year-old on a visit. I mean, that kind of just takes you over. And I told my dad I didn't really want to look anywhere else if I was given the chance to receive an offer from them. And I mean, the rest is history, I guess.
Yeah. So your freshman year, you guys win the national championship. A team was loaded with players, a laundry list of guys that are playing in the league now, National League, American League. Guys with just tons of talent, and you win the title. What do you remember being part of that team? What stands out the most for you, Chris, from winning a national championship?
I mean, just being able to watch the guys that we had on that team every day in practice. I think I definitely learned a lot. Just being on the ice with them every day and competing in practice. I mean, obviously I had the CBS line and I mean, we had Gardner and Luke Johnson and Tucker Pullman, Stature, so many guys that you can kind of watch every day and learn from, just kind of the mentality that they brought to the rink every day. And I mean, obviously it paid off and ended in winning a national championship. So I think just the mentality and the workmanlike attitude that team had every day was really unbelievable to kind of witness. And I mean, looking back on it now, it's something that definitely learned a lot from and was able to take with me the rest of my college career.
So you come back your sophomore year. I think that's when you and I talked. You know, we talked every now and then, not at length, nothing like this, but we talked and, you know, formed a little bit of a relationship that way. That second year, that had to have been tough on you because it was tough to get in the lineup, stay in the lineup. I remember joking with you about, you know, scoring and trying to give you a little, you know, pick me up, whether it was, you know, I don't remember exactly, but I know, you know, we shared a couple moments like that. What was that year like for you mentally and just emotionally to go through, knowing that you weren't in the lineup a lot and you weren't scoring a lot?
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone expects to take a big step freshman to sophomore year. I think that's kind of the summer where you can mature a lot and grow your game and kind of come into your sophomore year ready to produce and help the team a lot more than you did as a freshman. And yeah, I mean, I think I actually scored first game of the year, and it got called off for goalie interference.
Go figure.
Yeah, and then I don't know. I think it was like 30 or so games after that without a goal. So yeah, no, it was tough. Just mentally trying to stay positive every day, being in and out of the lineup, not playing as much as I would have liked. And I mean, obviously no hard feelings to North Dakota. I think I mean I could have been better and could have played better looking back on it and done things a little differently. But I think that's just kind of the process of growing and maturing as a player and as a person off the ice. You kind of sometimes need to have those tough times to appreciate the good ones, I guess, when they come. And obviously that happened at Colorado College in the 3 years following.
Yep. We're going to get to that. Chris Wilkie, Colorado College forward, was one of the top goal scorers in the country this past season. If you haven't seen him shoot a puck, man, it's something special because he's got an NHL release already and has for many years. So what ultimately, Chris, led to you deciding to go to CC and play for Mike Haviland at Colorado College?
Yeah. Well, my brother had committed there earlier in that year, my sophomore year. So my family had already kind of had a relationship with Coach Haviland and the staff here, which kind of helped kind of propel that forward. So yeah, I think kind of as the year went on, started to kind of creep into conversations with my dad and my advisor, just kind of looking at options going forward if things didn't kind of turn around and start to look up the rest of the year. And I think as the season kind of came to an end and I was kind of out of the lineup a little more than previously, I think that kind of cemented the decision. And after the season ended, I was able to have a conversation with Coach Barry and the staff there, and they were supportive and helpful, and obviously I'm grateful enough to have them let me stay in conference and have that signed off. So yeah, no, I definitely wanted to stay in conference. I think that was the main focus. I think the NCHC is the best place to play in college, and you want to stay in there and be able to compete against the best players and teams every weekend. So yeah, no, I think I ended up kind of committing to CC pretty early after we had lost in regionals that year, and was just excited for a fresh start and a new opportunity at the end of the day.
Yeah, and then ultimately, unfortunately, you didn't end up playing with your brother, right?
No, he broke his neck his first year in Corpus Christi. Pretty serious injury, so he was out that whole year, which kind of delayed things a year. And but I mean, at the end of the day, I know it would have been nice, but it wasn't the main deal sealer there. And it'll be nice for him to come in the next year or so and have the chance to play at the new rink and everything like that here.
Well, that's good. Obviously, he's doing better and back playing and all those things, right? He's recovered well from it, Chris?
Yeah, he's doing well. I think he fought his first or second game back, so he was doing pretty well coming back. He's got a little more toughness than I do, which is good.
I love it. Well, that's good to hear about him. And as we get back to your story, so you sit out, you redshirt. You and I have talked about that over the last couple of years of doing your games here and there, and of course last year you guys made it to the Frozen Face-Off in St. Paul, which was you guys had never been there. I mean, the only team that has not been there is Omaha, and I think obviously within due time that'll come for them. But for you guys, this past season, talk to me about this past season, knowing it was your last year, going into it. You're already drafted. You've been traded, which we'll get to down the road as well because it's a part of your story. Kind of recap this season through your eyes, if you can, for the Colorado College Tigers.
Yeah, I mean, as a senior, it's your last chance to kind of make your mark on the program and do something to positively benefit the program and leave kind of an impression after you're gone. And I think we had pretty high hopes coming into the year this year. We had some good transfers coming in and a good freshman class. And I think at the end of the day, we just didn't have the consistency that we would have liked all the way throughout the season. And but I don't think we were satisfied. And obviously Coach Haviland and the staff are going to make some changes and bring a lot of guys in next year, and that'll be exciting to kind of watch. But I think our class would have liked to kind of have a better season for our last year. But I guess I mean, every team has a lot of what ifs that kind of hung over it this year. So I mean, everyone's in the same boat, and would have liked to see what could have happened in the playoffs. But yeah, like I said, everyone is in the same boat there, so can't dwell on it too much.
We had you guys once on CBS, and you scored on a breakaway in that game. I mean, you're obviously blessed and you're gifted with a shot you have. Personally, though, this year, I know it's about the team. I know how hockey players are. Believe me, I've been around them a long time, and you know that. For you individually, you seem like you're on a mission, man. Every time, I mean, Dave said during the game we did with St. Cloud, he's like, he gets it, he's going to shoot it. He might have 15 shots a game. So that mentality, where did that come from? And you know, just talk to me a little bit about that if you can.
Yeah, I think, I mean, obviously I think my shot is one of, if not my best attributes of my game. And I mean, I've always been a shot first guy, but I think coming into this year, especially talking with the coaching staff throughout the summer and into the beginning of the year, leading up to October, I think they just had kind of just kept harping on shooting the puck a ton. And I mean, giving our team the best chance to produce offense when I'm putting the puck on net and making things happen. So, and I think my goal coming into the year was to lead the country in shots and see what happened from there. Cause I think kind of quantity of shots leads to goals at the end of the day if you were to look at numbers. So yeah, no, I think every time I got the puck I was pretty much looking to shoot. I didn't want to be dumb with it and throwing everything on net from behind the goal line and everything. But I think inside the dots and on the power play especially, I think I wanted to throw everything into net and see what happened. And yeah, it was just one of those years where pucks seemed to find their way in. I mean, sometimes off skates on wide shots and whatnot, but it was definitely nice when you kind of compare it to my one goal my sophomore year. So definitely good looking back on that.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Did you reach the goal, by the way, of with the shots?
Yeah, I believe so. I think Johnny Walker was kind of giving me a run for my money down at Arizona State, but we had a couple more games at the end when they were done, obviously not having much of the postseason for them. So yeah, no, that was definitely a goal that was in the back of my mind all year. And yeah, it was good. Nice to be able to accomplish that. That's
great. Chris Wilkie, our guest here on No Holding Back Hockey Edition, and plays at Colorado College, and now he's working on finishing up his studies, and eventually he'll get to a pro career here once things get back to being able to do what you guys do and what we all do. So so the story continues on. So you had gone to North Dakota. You played there twice in the regular season. Am I right? When you were at CC, or did you play there more than twice? Just twice?
Twice each year, yeah. That I was playing. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, everybody's got a story of where they were when things happened, but you, Chris, it got to me when I read your tweet, and I believe, and don't quote me, but you can quote me and fix me if I'm wrong on it, but I believe the quote was, "I never thought it would end on a bus."
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So you guys end up playing as the 8 seed, going to have to play North Dakota, where for you it all started as a collegiate player. Take us through when that trip started, when you guys left Colorado up until the point where things ended.
Yeah, when we were flying out on Wednesday to Minneapolis from Denver, and I mean at that point everything was kind of just going forward as scheduled. We hadn't really heard any changes, and kind of figured that North Dakota was going to allow fans in as long as they could, and until they're ultimately forced not to. I mean, obviously they want the fans there, and that helps them so much. I mean, I think before we left, Coach Haviland said there might not be fans, and we kind of joked that would be better for us to kind of take away the fans there. Obviously, that's a big advantage for them. Yeah, and we stayed in Minneapolis that night on Wednesday before the weekend, and I think at that point they had said no fans, but I mean, obviously we just assumed that everything was going to go forward. But then once the news kind of came out about the Jazz players testing positive and that game getting canceled on the spot, we weren't really too optimistic. kind of figured we were going on the bus for nothing there, just to turn around and come back. But obviously we hadn't got the official word yet from the league or the NCAA on it being canceled. So we had to move forward with the travel. And I think it was like, we were probably like an hour and a half out from Grand Forks, and Coach Haviland came back and said that it was over, and we were just heading back and kind of hopped on flights back to the Springs from Minneapolis. So, I mean, I think we all kind of figured it was coming. We weren't really too optimistic once the professional leagues start to cancel and postpone, pretty hard for the NCAA to move forward. So, definitely understand it. You got to be safe right now in these times, but no, it was crazy. Everyone expects your last game to end on the ice or on the field or wherever you may be. And I don't think this will ever happen again, where it ends on a bus or wherever anyone else was during that time.
Wow. What was Javi like when he came back to tell you? Did you guys have a sense? Did you know when he started to come back down the aisle of the bus to talk to you guys?
Yeah, we were just kind of looking, kind of gazing forward, waiting for him to stand up. We hadn't heard anything for a little bit, but once he stood up and kind of started to head back, we knew what was coming. And he just basically gave his end of the year speech in the hallway of our bus, and just said thank you to the seniors for everything, and we just kind of laid out our plan for getting back. And fortunately, we were able to split up onto two different flights right away when we headed back to Minneapolis, and we're back at school fairly early. So we just got back and were able to spend the last couple of days with the team before everyone headed back home for the rest of the year.
Were there tears shed? What was it like on the bus, man, for the players?
Maybe a couple tears shed, but probably would have been even tougher ending. You always want to end with your jersey on and in the game as your last chance. But I think we all kind of expected it, so it wasn't like a huge shock. No one wants their senior year to end like that. Especially after the season too, you have a month or two with your teammates and friends at school for the last time, and even that was kind of taken away. So it's been tough, but just kind of trying to take the best out of it. Everyone's in the same boat here, so.
Yeah. Well, it's like I said, man, I saw a lot of tweets that day like you did. I'm sure Instagram posts, and it was like, I looked at that from you and I was like, wow. I couldn't imagine it. And, I've talked to some other folks in other sports and heard their stories too. And, for us, our crew, we were ready to, come to Minneapolis around the same time you were going to North Dakota. Obviously, it was a week later. I'm like, hey, I don't care. I'll call the game, with fans or not. Man. The players will hear us. We can throw a microphone, a headset down and talk to them during the breaks, whatever, but try to make the best of it. I'm a positive guy, and I believe you are too that way. And just a tough way to end it. And I know it's probably not easy to keep going through the story, because I know you've been asked a lot about it. But I really appreciate you doing that, Chris. And I've always appreciated, the time that we've had the opportunities to talk and when we've done your games, wherever those games have been, whether at Nodak or at CC there. I want to ask you about, we talked about your shot. Your dad was a defenseman, right?
Yeah, he was.
So he was winding up with clappers probably from the blue line, and different, obviously you're a forward. Who are some guys that, whether they go back to when you were a little tyke and with your dad and even up to now, that you would put on, like, let's say a top 3 list of guys in the National Hockey League that you like to watch that can just fire it?
I think like throughout kind of the end midget and into my junior career, when I really started to kind of focus on the release and shooting the puck, I think Steven Stamkos and Phil Kessel were 2 guys that I watched release-wise, and just, I think Stamkos more so on the power play with one-timers and just having a heavy shot, and then kind of watching Kessel with his release and his ability to just get pucks on net quick and beat goalies. I don't think he has the hardest or the heaviest shot, but just the way that he's able to hide his release through footwork and and having the puck in a shooting position at all times and being able to release that quick. I think that's something that I learned a lot from both of those guys, just watching YouTube clips of their goals every season. And something that, I mean, my dad would help me a lot with that too, just the footwork of releasing the puck quickly, off passes and stuff like that. And, I mean, now in the league, there's so many guys that shoot the puck well. I mean, Matthews is probably one of the most fun guys to watch shooting the puck and releasing it. He's incredible at hiding his release and getting it off quick. And, I mean, there's, you could go, the list could go on and on, but I think those are definitely probably in my top three for guys that I kind of sit back and throw on YouTube clips of all their goals every season. I'm just kind of trying to learn what you can from the way they shoot the puck and hide their release. And I mean, it's not necessarily always placing it in the right spot. It's just kind of surprising the goalie.
I love Stamkos. I mean, I like all those guys, but if I had to pick one of those guys, Stamkos would be my guy. I love watching him play. And
yeah,
like you said, the way he shoots the puck, man, he's just an unbelievable talent. More to your story, I want to go back. One more thing I wanted to bring up. So you not only go through, you know, what you went through in the 5 years, 6 years, I guess, total. Was it 5? Yeah, 5 years. So you're drafted originally by Florida. You get traded to Ottawa. They still have your rights. Nothing's changed, right?
Yeah.
What was all that like for you mentally, dealing with that and emotionally and all that during, you know, your season at CC?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, the college rights with NHL team and free agency is still a little confusing to me. I didn't even really know that Florida had still kind of controlled my rights after 4 or 5 years or whatever it was. So I was driving to the rink for our Saturday game against Michigan State early in the year, and Florida's director of player development, Brian McCabe, a great guy and helped me a lot throughout my years in college. I got a call from him and kind of just ignored it right away and texted him back. I was like, driving to the rink, like, I'll call you later. And he was like, no, you need to call me right now. So I looked at Alex Barnelli. I was driving to the rink with him, and I was like, well, I don't know what this could be about. And said that they had traded me to Ottawa. That literally as we're pulling into the Broadmoor for a game on Saturday. And yeah, I was definitely surprised just because I didn't know how the rights and stuff work like that after so many years. And but no, it was definitely humbling that Ottawa had wanted me back in that trade. And yeah, I mean, right now it's just, I mean, things aren't moving too fast because they think they hold my rights until August 15th. So I mean, hopefully it works out with them and I'm able to step into that organization and kind of work my way up as I start my pro career, and just kind of waiting on hearing things back from my agent and from them right now. So.
Yeah, excuse me. I talked with David Quinn yesterday. I don't know if Quinny ever recruited you or not, but he was at BU, but he's a Rangers coach now. Him and I were together in the American League for a couple of years, and you know, point is nobody knows. Nobody knows anything. I mean, people are talking about, well, is there going to be college football? Who knows? I mean, so you guys are waiting. So what are you doing physically, mentally to keep yourself engaged? You touched on some of the things you're doing earlier with school and watching some TV and some shows, but in a hockey sense, are you just kind of day at a time? Where are you at with all that?
Yeah, I mean, like I said before we started, I had the surgery kind of right after everything ended. So kind of took a couple of weeks there just to kind of recover from the procedure and lay low. And I mean, now that it's gone on, I had a couple of weeks now from it, kind of able to get moving again. And I mean, it's nice to be able to have the track and the turf fields down here at CC, and just staying in touch with our strength coach, Scott Caulfield, here too. Just trying to do whatever we can with what we have right now to stay active and kind of stay in shape for whenever things kind of pick back up. I mean, obviously no one's really skating right now, so that'll be kind of another process to get back into. But yeah, no, I think just, I mean, running, body weight, whatever we can do right now to kind of stay as in shape as we can. I mean, obviously nothing compares to skating shape, which everyone will have to get adjusted to again once the rinks open back up. But no, I mean everyone's going through the same things right now, so not like you're losing a step or being behind anyone right now.
Right. Just a couple more things for you, Chris. Every coach in our league, I have great respect for. I like all of our coaches, and each one of them has something unique about them. You played for two of them. I want to ask you about the guy you played for your last couple of years, because I get with Mike Haviland. For those that don't know, I'm talking like I'm in the room with these guys, but Mike Haviland is a well-traveled coach, won Stanley Cups with the Blackhawks. I mean, we're going to have him on later this week and do a pod with him this way. What did you enjoy the most about playing for Havy? Because he seems to me like every coach may say this, oh, we're a player's coach. Some are and some aren't, but I think he really truly is. I mean, you tell me what it was like to play with him play for him the last couple of years.
Yeah. I mean, I'm obviously owe so much to Coach Haviland and Leon and RJ for bringing me in and believing in me, coming out of 2 tough years at North Dakota. So, yeah, like I said, I owe them a lot for the things that they've done and kind of helped reinvigorate my hockey career in a sense. And, Coach Haviland cares so much about the players. And, I mean, obviously he hasn't been satisfied with the records that he's had here at CC and wants to turn that around. And, he's on the bench. He's extremely serious and into the game and so passionate. I think even he'd tell you he gets pretty emotional sometimes, and he kind of takes a step back sometimes and kind of settles down. But away from the rink and off the ice, he's just so personable and helps you with things off the ice, and just shows that he cares a lot about the players and the program. And I mean, not only helping make us better hockey players, but kind of helping us grow as people as well. And I'm excited for what the program's got moving forward. I think as the rink kind of gets built here, it's going to just attract so much more recruiting wise and bringing players in. And it's going to be an unbelievable atmosphere having a rink here on campus, and just excited to kind of watch how the program continues to grow under Coach Haviland and the young guys they have coming up.
One of those included your brother soon, right? So that'll be cool.
Yeah.
And you'll be watching.
Yeah, it'll be cool.
You'll be watching for a few more years. So, Chris, always enjoyed talking with you, man. Like I said, going back to your days at North Dakota and when you're at CC, and what a full circle story. I mean, I wanted to have you on to share with those that didn't know. And I really appreciate you doing that, taking the time out of your schedule. And over the years, all the conversations we've had, and laughs we've shared here and there, it means a lot to me. It means a lot to our group at CBS when we're doing the games. And you're one of the good guys in the game, man. Really appreciate your time, Chris. And be keeping tabs on you and wish you the best once the pro career finally embarks for you and a lot of other guys, but specifically for you, my friend.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate it, and fun to come on, and always good to chat with you. And hopefully down the road we'll meet back up and be able to talk again.
That'd be great. Stay safe. Best to you and your family, your friends, everybody out there. And you got family in other spots, but best to you guys. Stay safe and healthy, and we'll get through this thing. I know you're staying positive too, and appreciate it, Chris, very much joining us.
Yeah, you as well. Stay safe. Talk soon, hopefully.
All right, that's Chris Wilkie joining us here on No Holding Back, our hockey edition. Appreciate Chris's time, and we'll see you next time for an all-new edition of No Holding Back.